Hello my good friends, I hope you're all doing just fine. Welcome to the channel Digimon Explained. My name is Jesse, and in this video I wanted to give some attention to the Digimon who frightened me the most as a kid and who could still frighten me today, that is, if it were to be alive, if it were to be real. I am talking about RAREMON. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you would be wondering why I was so afraid of it, but that's okay. Give me a chance to convince you. You'll see that even its background story is among the more R-rated stories out there. So, who, or rather what is RAREMON? No one can answer that question, to be fair with you. No one can tell what Digimon it used to be. That is because it is an undead Digimon who tried to extend its life by mechanizing its body. Being an undead Digimon makes it part of the Nightmare Soldiers family. Members of this field are usually demonic or undead Digimon. And making use of machinery to keep itself alive is making RAREMON also a part of the Metal Empire family. Members of this field are generally mechanical Digimon. There is a problem though. It's not the first time a Digimon is making use of technology to either enhance its power or, in this case, enhance its life. Take Metal Greymon for example. It had mechanized more than half of its body, incorporating technology appropriated from Andromon. And now it became a Digimon who boasts offensive power said to equal a single nuclear warhead. So Metal Greymon is more alive than ever after having mechanized more than half of its body. RAREMON's technology appropriation had the opposite effect. The technology destabilized its body, and its configuration data has begun to break down to the point that all its muscles have rotted away. The machines did give it a form of life, I guess, even if I'd say that it is neither living nor dead. Its entire body has broken down, and now it resembles this blob of gelatinous decaying grey flesh with cables embedded in its body. If you look carefully, aside of the circuitry pattern on its back, you can also see exposed ribs, one of the leftovers of the days where it wasn't an undead. Speaking of its appearance, I do have to tell you that RAREMON's looks are entirely based off the monster Hedorah, who is also known as the Smog Monster. For those who know enough about the Godzilla franchise, you'd know what I'm talking about. Hedorah was envisioned as an embodiment of the asthma in Japan that was caused by widespread smog and urban pollution. To be honest, smog and pollution might be the most notorious thing in current society. I think it's heavily underestimated to know how many people die because of smog and pollution. And now, RAREMON really is like Hedorah, as it automatically gives off a foul stench from its entire body, so that Digimon up to the rookie level will simply run away. And you know what? They will not, or quite frankly they could not become its opponents until they grow to the champion level. And speaking of stench, you have to know that RAREMON is a massive Digimon. It almost comes at 10 feet or 3 meters in height. Being such a huge Digimon with rotting flesh that can be smelled from afar, that is quite a crazy and scary thing if you ask me. With a body kept alive because of the machinery, RAREMON will not die. However, as its body has broken down to this state, its offensive power and mental capacity are non-existent, and it acts purely on instinct. This actually reminds me a little bit of Skull Greymon, who has more or less a similar background story as RAREMON, meaning that it was one who fought and fought and fought until the flesh has rotted away to become actually non-existent. And now it just became a shell of its former self, only acting based on instinct and being straight up unstable. And RAREMON, if it comes across an enemy, doesn't matter who, it will either spit gas or acid from its mouth. Acid that corrodes anything it touches. So I hope you understand a little better why I had this fear for this Digimon back in the days. There's enough to be afraid of, and to be honest, with its story we could easily make a horror movie from it. And quite frankly, with its huge build and just straight up its appearance, I had no idea how one would even face such a thing. Anyway, if you believe that RareMon is already crazy, wait till you see its ultimate level called RareRaremon. And let me tell you that RareRaremon probably is the best name I have ever heard in the entire franchise, because they did not add something like War before, such as WarGreymon. Okay, it's not WarRaremon, it's not Metal Raremon, nor Magna Raremon. It's just the same name, but just doubled. It's RareRaremon, who by the way is yet another huge undead Digimon. Except that now it resembles a blob of decaying green flesh with cables embedded in it. It's as if the decaying procedure went even further while the Digimon was still evolving. And now you can see that it has multiple protrusions with mouth. It has numerous eyes and its head is covered in metal plating around a massive mouth. You see, normally, despite the mechanization of Raremon's body, its life is technically still on the line, and normally a certain death should await it, despite already being an undead. RareRaremon is one who has survived the advanced decay of its body through further mechanization and has taken on this appearance. Its body still repeatedly breaks down and takes back form. The eyes and mouth who have emerged are rotting away. The foul stench it once gave off from its entire body as a Raremon now has increased so much that even Megas have difficulty approaching it. And don't forget that this Digimon is at the ultimate level. And unless I am wrong, it is quite possible that RareRaremon is bigger than Raremon. So the capacity to spread its odor is much greater. On top of that, it can also spread a toxic gas which comes out of its many mouths, and those who inhale it die instantly. That's the level of toxicity and pollution it is capable of spreading. Because RareRaremon consumes energy to maintain its body, it makes up for that energy by dissolving the enemy after it swallows them whole via the mouth on its head. So really, this is just another Raremon, but scarier, I guess. Now, unfortunately, Raremon and its ultimate form, RareRaremon, did not receive a mega level. That's really too bad because I'd have loved to see a continuation of this line. However, there are some fan-made mega level forms for Raremon, some of which really do look amazing, and we're going to discuss two of them. Normally I only discuss fan-made Digimon in separate videos and put them all in the Digimon fan art playlist, but I will make a small exception for Raremon. Let us get into it. The first one is what I found on Pinterest. I will put the link towards it in the description box. I really love this one, as it absolutely looks like another continuation of Raremon, but much more grotesque if you ask me. We see way more mouth and eyes about everywhere. In fact, I'm a bit scared of saying this, but have you ever seen the pictures of real mutated people? Meaning people who have been contaminated by radiation. Think of the victims of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki nuclear bombings, or the Chernobyl disaster. Well, some of these people who were radiated gave birth. Let me tell you that, for the sake of this video and your minds, I'm not going to show you any pictures of these children. And to be honest, I can't even advise you to go and look at those pictures. However, some of the children who were born from parents who were radiated did look very different, to say the least. And this is what RareRaremon is reminding me of, which is not so far away from the whole concept behind Raremon, by the way, as the Digimon is meant to represent the monster Hedorah, and that monster is meant to represent pollution in general. But there is also something called nuclear pollution or radiation pollution, which is what is making people go contaminated. So, RareRaremon is absolutely great to be seen as a mega level of Raremon. Definitely an interesting take. There is another fan-made mega level Digivolution for Raremon, namely Ultra Raremon. Even if, to be honest, I'd rather also call it RareRareRaremon, or we could see it as another mode of RareRareRaremon, and then I would call it RareRareRaremon Rare mode. And what I like a lot about this one is that, well, for starters, it looks like it became a dragon, or something resembling a dragon, but one that is still decomposing and probably still has a strong odor. It has eyes everywhere, along with many mouths, who almost appear themselves to be sentient and alive. You can also see many hands on many parts of its body, plus there are some other mechanics to be seen on it, like rockets, I believe. Rockets who they themselves grew horns. So it's an absolutely chaotic and unstable looking Digimon, which is really the point behind RareMon. And you know what? All these forms we've seen are just extra reasons for my younger self to be scared of RareMon and its line. Try to imagine that all of them were to be given a spot in the Digimon anime. If they made these episodes really dark and you're just a youngster trying to enjoy an anime like Digimon, who by the way have many themes which should be considered R-rated, but anyway, how crazy would it be as a youngster to look at that? And you know what? You see this version of RareMon, well, you see this version of RareRareRaremon in its rare mode. I'm pretty sure it is going to be quite big, just like RareMon. So how would you even commence confronting it? Digimon, or heck, even humans who would come across this Digimon would get frozen in fear, and how would they not? This form, along with RareMon and RareRaremon, are among the few Digimon who absolutely look like abominations, or straight up not normal Digimon. You know what? Not even the Chimera Digimon come anywhere close. So RareMon is definitely a Digimon that is being slept on. I used to be afraid of it with good reasons, but now it is a Digimon I sure hope the developers will take a bit more into consideration, like many other Digimon we have discussed so far, who unfortunately appear to be left behind in the dust. Hey guys, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, the RareMon line and RareMon itself is a Digimon who I believe is simply too awesome. I've got strong emotional connections to it because of how scary I always found it. And now that I've had the chance to go through it and understand its origins, I grew to like it even more. I'm pretty sure many of you also like the RareMon line secretly, but you're just afraid of telling me. Well, I am hoping so anyway. And if you do not like it, please feel free to write down in the comment section how you look at this line. How do you look at RareMon? What are your expectations for RareMon? In what types of stories do you see RareMon? Please be very thorough, because I do find myself being more curious for your opinions on this Digimon. Because, well, look, it just looks so different than all other Digimon out there. Also, how do you think of the fan art for RareMon? Do you think they are very fitting? I think they really do. They really look like follow-ups of RareMon. But write your opinions down in the comment section. Also, make sure to like the video for the YouTube algorithm. And please don't forget to subscribe for more Digimon videos. Just press the button. You'd be helping this channel a lot.